Welcome friends to another video, welcome to another list. It's winter time, officially. Therefore, it's time for me to give you my updated wintertime fragrances for 2023. It's gonna be a long video, therefore I don't want to waste any precious time. Let's go ahead and start with the first recommendation. And be very careful, these are recommendations for you. I do not recommend for you to go and purchase blindly these fragrances. You need to first try them out, wear them a couple of times, buy a sample, a decant, and only afterwards decide if they are worth or not your well hard-earned money. Number one on this list comes from the house of Atar Al-Has, which is a Turkish niche house, and the fragrance is called My Magic. Absolutely amazing fragrance if you love roses, but this is a very jammy rose. You got Anatolian rose and you also got sugar. Also, you have amber inside and a lot more ingredients. Very opulent, very luxurious, very good performing. This is a monster type of fragrance, and this bottle is simply amazing. If you want something for a formal event, formal occasion, I highly recommend Atar Al-Has My Magic. This is our number one entry. Our second entry in this list comes from the house of Matière Première, and it's this amazing fragrance called Incense Suave. If you love incense and you also love vanilla, this is one of the best fragrances out there on the market. It's simply outstanding. Gorgeous, delightful, gourmand incense. The vanilla is simply outstanding, interpreted by Matière Première. Very, very long-lasting fragrance. Very sensual, very opulent, but also very tasty. Highly recommended also for formal events, and not only, also quite good for romantic scenarios. Incense Suave from the house of Matière Première. Our third entry in this list comes from the Swedish house called Panadora, and it's called Grand Musk. One of the best, one of the most incredible animalic musk fragrances out there. This is a true masterpiece. Very complicated fragrance, very beautiful at the same time, especially for animalic fragrance lovers. Very long lasting. I do love wearing this one also in summertime, so be advised, but it also works flawlessly in wintertime. Very high-end perfumery, Panadora Grand Musk, especially if you're looking for that animalic musk. Highly recommended. Next entry on this list comes from the house of Aum, and it's called Long Live the King. And this is truly a king. This is an oriental fragrance. Very high quality, very high concentration, 40% of essential oils. Very, very strong stuff. Be very careful with this one. It's also very expensive, so be advised. But this is something gorgeous. If you love wood, if you love agarwood, this is simply the king. Think about Nasomato Black Afghano, but a lot better. This one, with one spray, sits on my skin for at least 48 hours. And it projects like crazy, and it leaves a huge scent trail. Aum, long live the king. Next entry. Although I'm not a big fan of leather in fragrances, it depends quite a lot on the interpretation. Still, this fragrance is very unique, it's very interesting, it's very awkward, and I simply love it. From the house of Vagabond Prince comes Land of Warriors. Such an interesting fragrance. This is a multi-layered leather fragrance. You have vegetal leather, you have mineral leather, you get smoky leather, animalic leather. This is such a feast for your senses. Incredible fragrance, very well blended, high quality, very long lasting at the same time. And it takes you through a journey when it comes to leather facets. The Vagabond Prince and Land of Warriors. And I simply love their bottles. Truly, truly gorgeous style. Next entry on this list comes from the house of Amouage. And it is one of my favorite fragrances from this house. Mitzman. Chrysanthemum, ash, leather, simply gorgeous. Another floral interpretation from the house of Amouage, done masterfully. A very long-lasting fragrance, very unique, very artistic at the same time. And this to me is best suited for formal events. Therefore, this is how I always wear it, although I did wear it casually and semi-formal, of course. But for formal events, this is simply outstanding. There is nothing to say about Amouage. Truly a masterpiece house. Highly recommend Miss Man, especially because it was discontinued. So you might want to grab a bottle of Miss Man. Next entry on this list comes from the house of Map of the Heart, an Australian niche house. And to me, this is the best fragrance for them, at least for me, because I do like it the most. Map of the Heart V4 Golden Heart. If you love saffron, you need to have this one in your collection. Such a beautiful scent. Such a beautiful saffron note, combined with milk and also with Australian sandalwood. Amazing quality when it comes to the ingredients, when it comes to the notes. Incredible smell and also very long lasting. I love this scent. This is the best saffron perfume that I ever sniffed. Therefore, it's in my collection. Therefore, I highly recommend it to you also. Map of the Heart V4 Golden Heart. Next entry in this list comes from the house of Bond Number 9, and this is one of my favorite coffee fragrances, combined with chestnut. New Bond Street. Amazing creation from the house of Bond Number 9. I know that a lot of people don't like this house. It's their problem. I'm a big fan of Bond Number 9. And as you can see, I do have quite a few fragrances for them. But New Bond Street is about coffee and chestnut. And it's simply gorgeous. Thick, very thick actually. Heavy, but very heavy, especially on the coffee and the chestnut. This is a very good fragrance for cooler weather and especially for winter time, because this is our winter list. This is very long lasting, very, very good performing. Another monster type of fragrance for me and on my skin. I simply love it. As I said, one of my favorite, one of the best coffee scents out there. It isn't cheap. This is quite an expensive house, but for what it's worth every single penny. New Bond Street from Bond Number 9. Next entry comes from a Polish house, Polish niche house. And this house has some very interesting offerings. I'm talking about the Wolf Brothers. And yeah, dear, incredible stuff. Another coffee-based scent, but this time around combined with pistachio. So this is truly gourmand. It's very delicious. It's very powerful. You also have some pine tree inside and a lot of woody elements, but this is truly amazing. Somewhat in the same veins when it comes to performance and quality with Bond Number 9's New Bond Street. A very, very beautiful scent that I highly recommend you to discover. As I said, this is a Polish niche house. I actually bought this fragrance last week because I was in Poland, and because I've went into perfumeries in the beautiful city of Krakow, I actually had the opportunity to get my hands on this house, because in Romania, where I live, they are not available. So highly recommended if you're traveling abroad. I don't know, if you're going to Poland, for example, go into a fragrance store and try their fragrances. They are simply outstanding. They aren't actually very cheap, but they are not the most expensive ones either. Deer is simply gorgeous if you love coffee with a twist. Highly recommended, very long lasting. Actually, the performance is great. And my last entry on this year's list comes from the house of Roberto Cavalli. This is from its niche lineup called the Gold Collection. These aren't widely available fragrances, so what can I say? You need to have a bit of luck in finding them, but the fragrance is called Wild Incense. What a delight! What a fragrance! The main accords here are, of course, incense, but combined with an overdose of cognac. And it's truly, truly stunning. Very high quality, incredible scent, and amazing performance. Also a very thick perfume, very strong, very opulent, very luxurious, very in your face, that features a huge longevity, projection, and sillage. I highly recommend you if you love incense, but especially if you love boozy fragrances, because the cognac in here is truly amazing. High quality fragrance from Roberto Cavalli. Also, their designer offerings are quite good. So, what can I say? Try them both. Highly recommended. This is my 10th fragrance in this year's list. These are my 10 recommendations for you. I highly encourage you again to try them out, not to blind buy them. I highly encourage you to test them on your own skin, wear them a couple of times, see how they perform, and only afterwards decide if you want to spend the money or not. These aren't cheap fragrances, therefore, it would be a shame for you to waste your money, your hard-earned money, on things that you don't actually know about. As always, my friends, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I'm going to see you in the next one. Be safe, be good. And remember, smell good, feel good. Peace.